I have a message for New York City. As of right now, Central Park is mine.
Hey guys, I want to take a couple minutes to talk about a classic that a lot of you have probably never heard of. I just recently watched The Fugitive again, which was one of Tommy Lee Jones's really big featured roles. And then he followed that up. He came back in U.S. Marshals as the same character, which was okay. But after watching those two movies back to back, I really felt like I wanted a little bit more Tommy Lee Jones. And I remember this movie from 1986 that I remembered seeing, called The Park Is Mine. A lot of people won't know anything about this movie. Apparently I knew about it because I grew up in southern Ontario, and this is totally a Canadian movie. Yeah, I believe it was shot in Toronto, and I saw so many Toronto area actors, mainstays, show up in this movie. So that's part of the charm of it. But the story of the movie involves Tommy Lee Jones's character, who is a Vietnam vet, and the reason I'm recommending this movie is if you like Rambo, First Blood in particular, if you really love First Blood, this will be right up your alley. And also the music is by Tangerine Dream, which, if you were kind of on the fence about it before, this almost straight-to-video Canadian-made movie about Central Park in New York, the music of Tangerine Dream is amazing. I gotta find the soundtrack. It really carries the movie all the way through. It gives it a sense of urgency and intensity. So to me, the best part, aside from Tommy Lee, was the soundtrack by Tangerine Dream. But the story involves a vet who is feeling disrespected, much like Rambo in First Blood. And he rigs Central Park so that he'll be able to take over it with explosives. He's got sniper rifles set up all over the place. And he just has this plan, which, when someone tells you about it, it's just absurd. But when someone is very skilled in the art of tripwires and explosives and guerrilla warfare, it's kind of interesting to actually see someone do it. And you don't really get the reason for it. I mean, the guy who sets this all up is clearly insane. And then he passes the mission off, he passes the baton off to his pal, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who is also not quite right in the head. And that's part of the fun of this movie too. You get to see Tommy Lee being zany, crazy Tommy Lee from time to time. So he's not off the wall right from the beginning. He is a good man, but he's a little cracked. So you see glimpses of like Two-Face from the Batman movie he did, or the villain he played in Under Siege. The maniacalness of Tommy Lee appears from time to time in this movie. But it's actually a really fascinating movie about a guy who is just sick of being spat at, not remembered, not appreciated. Not that that's his sole motivating thing, that he feels like he is owed something for his service. But there's definitely something wrong with the disrespect that was shown to the people who, the military people who served. And this was just a desperation move of somebody notice me, somebody respect me. And I also do appreciate that it was a non-violent thing. He wasn't out to hurt anybody. He wasn't going to shoot anyone or maim anyone. He just wanted to make a statement. And his whole condition was that I will be in Central Park alone, no one else come in, until Veterans Day. That's when I will walk out, and you can arrest me, take me into custody, do whatever you want with me. But it's a soldier doing a mission, and he's going to see that mission through. So very similar to First Blood in the sense of Rambo going into the forest and saying, just leave me alone. And then you get all these blowhards who go, who does this guy think he is? Go into our forest. We're going to go hunt him down with dogs. And then they all get maimed. So in The Park Is Mine, Tommy Lee's character isn't quite as brutal on the people trying to get him as John J. Rambo was on those townspeople going after him. But it's very similar. It's in the same vein, and The ending is a big thing for me too. I think if First Blood had ended the way the book ended, I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I do. So not to spoil the ending of A Park Is Mine, because I'm sure a lot of people watching this have never heard of it. But I was satisfied. I thought it was an appropriate ending. Great 80s movie from start to finish. Part of the fun is watching the proper Canadian enunciating every single syllable, every single T, trying to do New Yorker accents. I think there might be one New York accent in this entire movie. But, being a Canadian guy growing up, I was able to look past that and not go, oh, brother. It's actually a really, really impressive production for being a Canadian production. And a funny little anecdote. There's a scene between an actor and an actress in a van, and when the scene ended, my wife said, "Was that the Polkaroo?" And I said, "The Polkaroo, I missed him again." So the Canadians will know what I'm talking about. We had a children's show here called the Polkaroo, and that actor was actually on that show, and he would always run off set to do something, like I have to go and do my dishes or something. And then this big costumed thing would come on called the Polkaroo. And it actually turned out that it was that actor in the suit. And then the Polkaroo would leave, and then that actor would come unmasked, uncostumed. And the actress on the show would say, "Oh, the Polkaroo was just here." And the recurring line in the show was always, "The Polkaroo here? And I missed him again?" So it was just kind of funny that I missed the Polkaroo in The Park Is Mine. So if you've seen A Park Is Mine and you want to talk about it, please scroll down and go to town. This might be one of the few or only Park Is Mine online discussions in existence. I love the Sobs, Soldiers of Barabbas book series, and talking about that even though very few people know about it. So this is right in the same vein as Sobs. And well, Rambo First Blood has a much bigger following. But yeah, if you've checked out Park Is Mine, let me know what you thought about it. And if you haven't seen it, try to hunt it down. It is a blast. And the big selling point is Tangerine Dream and Tommy Lee Jones. So if everything else makes you want to kind of stay away from that, those are the two main factors that I think will help you get through the whole thing and even enjoy it. To join the tribe, hit subscribe and hit that chime to be notified each time a new video comes up. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Nerdmas Day.